Hot take, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is actually the easiest From Souls game. Yes, I said it. And before the Sekiro fanboy starts keyboard mashing, hear me out, let me explain. If you think Sekiro is the hardest Souls game, I'm convinced you either haven't played the other games or you have never actually understood Sekiro. Somehow, this game has convinced the internet that it's the peak of FromSoft difficulty, and I genuinely don't get it. Because once you stop trying to play it like trash and actually learn the mechanics, Sekiro practically hands you everything. Because someone who has actually played other Souls game, I can easily say that Sekiro is the easiest FromSoft Souls game. It's really easy to get into, it's really easy to understand, and once you understand it, everything becomes cakewalk. While in other Souls game, sure, the mechanism is same, but every single boss changes the formula a tad bit. The thing is that Sekiro changes a lot of mechanics that makes traditional Souls game difficult, which takes me to my first point. Stamina is everything in other Souls game. Attacking uses stamina, dodging uses stamina, parrying uses stamina, blocking uses stamina, even running uses stamina. So, if you attack too much or you start panic dodging, you run out of stamina. And now you're completely defenseless and congratulations, you're getting one shot. So, in traditional Souls game, you not only need to look after your health, the enemy attacks, but also you have to take care of your stamina bar. If your stamina runs out, it's instant death for you, not gonna lie. If your vigor is too low, you'll be one-shotted. While in Sekiro, stamina doesn't exist. Sekiro removes stamina entirely. You can attack continuously, you can run forever, and you can deflect continuously. Because of this one mechanic, the game prefers aggressive playstyle. And remember, hesitation is defeat. The next big difference is the defensive mechanism. In games like Dark Souls Trilogy, Elden Ring and Bloodborne, the main defensive mechanism is dodging. Sure, you can block, but in my opinion that's a skill issue. To avoid damage, you usually need to do a perfect dodge. You need to dodge at the exact moment, you need to dodge in the right direction, and you need to make sure that you still have stamina after you have dodged to continue dodging or follow with an enemy attack depending on the situation. If you mess up even a single step, you take massive amount of damage, but Sekiro's deflect system is way more forgiving. Even if you mess up the timing, you still end up blocking, which negates damage. Sure, posture bar builds up like hella fast, but in my opinion, posture is much more easier to maintain than health. Because the thing is that if the issue is your health, you have to make distance, take your time to heal while looking at the boss's pattern. But if the issue is your posture bar, just don't mess up other deflections. Your posture bar will never break if you keep on performing perfect deflections. And even if it breaks, you can perform a safety dodge or a roll dodge. It gives you iframes. So if you perfectly time it with enemy attack, you can dodge an incoming enemy attack. Or if you're really paranoid about your posture bar, just run away. The boss arenas are pretty big and you have infinite stamina. Just take your time. Whole block, it will help you. There are certain attacks which if you end up blocking, you will take reduced damage. Meaning, if you didn't block that attack, you will take say 500 points of damage. But if you end up blocking that attack, you will take 200 points of damage. For example, reduced damage. That decrease in damage could be your reason to survive. While if you mess up dodge timing in other games, you will take entire amount of damage. Also, I'm not sure if you take counter damage in PvE. So I'm not adding it. So instead of panic dodging, Sekiro becomes more like a rhythmic game. Okay, so where do I start? One of the biggest difficulty mechanism in Dark Souls 2 was just how many enemies the game throws at you at once. This problem was not exclusive to Dark Souls 2, it was also found in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, while it also existed in Elden Ring but rarely. The open world factor helped a lot, and also having torrent and finally being able to jump helped a lot. But in Dark Souls 2, the devs crossed every single line. They were like, a small corridor?
Let's put every single enemy we have in our arsenal.
Areas like Iron Keep, Shrine of Amana felt like eating a stew made up of uranium-236. Though, one thing I like about Dark Souls 2 is that if you kill all the enemies and reset the area 12 freaking times, the enemies would not spawn after the 12th time. That's how I fought Smelter Demon and Simon of Dong. I mean, Demon of Song. Shit. A lot of the difficulty isn't the enemies itself, but the sheer amount of enemies that are thrown upon you. While Sekiro rarely overwhelms you like that. It gives you items and mechanics. Items like grappling hook for vertical movement, and you rarely find yourself stuck in enemy crowds. You can just grapple away most of the time. And Gaching Sugar, which makes you invisible. Also, you can death blow Chained Ogre's first phase using Gaching Sugar. I don't recommend it, but it's fun. Try it. Also mechanics like stealth, which takes me to my next point. Stealth is something that people rarely talk about. Stealth is extremely powerful in Sekiro. And sure, killing someone from the behind isn't honorable. But before you guys give me that you have no honor bullshit, let me tell you something. I would rather have my sanity and life over my honor. Okay, staying back to the topic, stealth is extremely powerful in Sekiro. You can instantly kill normal enemies, remove one health bar from mini bosses, and skip entire encounters. That's a massive advantage. Imagine if you could walk into areas in Dark Souls and Elden Ring and delete half of the enemies before they even notice you with just one click. Yes, that's basically what this stealth allows you to do in Sekiro. Or Death Blow, should I say. And other classic Souls frustration is boss index. In Dark Souls, if you die to a boss, you sometimes have to run for minutes just to get back to the boss and try again. You have to run past enemies, dodge attacks, avoid getting hit, and make sure you have enough Estus flask left to fight the boss. And if you mess up during the boss attack, you might as well end up dead. But Sekiro almost completely removes this problem, or should I say completely remove this problem. Most bosses have an idle place right next to the arena. As I said, you have infinite stamina, and to be honest, Sekiro's running speed is pretty fast. It doesn't even take you a minute or two to reach boss arenas. You die, you wake up and forget about the forgot wrong game. You die, respawn instantly and try again. That means the game respects your time, because they know that you will literally rage bait on the first boss, you freaking 5-year-old. I had to mention honorable boss index, so honorable mentions: Bed of Chaos, Capra Demon, Gwen. I'd say it's not hard, but it's long as hell. Yes. Manus, Demon of Song, Melter Demon, Sinner from Dark Souls 2, Twin Princess Dark Souls 3. One mechanic that makes Sekiro significantly more forgiving is Resurrection. In most Souls games, if you die, that's it, back to the bonfire, and back to Reddit complaining. But in Sekiro, you literally get a second life during boss fights. That means mistakes that normally would kill you in other Souls games are suddenly survivable. You can die, analyze the situation, analyze enemies' moveset, stand back up, more powerful, more better than before, and keep on fighting. That alone removes a huge amount of difficulty. Also, you can use Bundle Jesus statue during Owl's boss fight, which gives you an extra life, and I'm not sure if you can use it in any other boss other than Owl's boss fight, cause well, I hadn't used it. Another interesting difference is the boss design. Sekiro rewards aggression. It rewards you staying in the face of the boss rather than playing it safe. Again, hesitation is defeat. Elden Ring and other Souls game bosses rewards your patience and timing, while factors in Sekiro like boss's posture bar being healed over time makes you adapt to aggressive playstyle. In other Souls games, there are multiple AoE attacks, so you need to run from them and then run back in to attack them. A great example of this is Radahn, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, and Gaping Jaw, Adele from Night Raid. I hot take one more. Adele Everdark version is way too overhyped. It's literally just running away and then just running back in. I hate it. Okay, get back to the point. Half of the fight becomes running away and then running back in to deal damage. But in Sekiro, fight feels more like a duel than survival. In other Souls games, there are different builds. More builds is equal to more reason for hesitation. And we know hesitation is defeat. I've made this reference 3 times in this video. There are different weapons, different stats, and different playstyles. To understand a weapon, you need to master it first, which takes some time. The more variety there is, more hesitant one becomes. And you need a decent Souls knowledge to have a fair understanding of buffs, talismans, spells, incants, status stats, effects, etc. For example, you need to know which stat is associated with which thingy. For example, Arcane is for bleed users, Dex is for Sekiro wannabes, Strength for Giga Chads, and End for fanboys. The combat system of Souls games are really complex, and for someone like me whose first Souls game was Sekiro, this becomes really hard to deal with cause I still had no idea what my stats did cause well I played Sekiro first, right? And second game was Elden Ring for me. I had no idea what stats were. I was continuously asking my friends what to do, what to not to do, and I was just leveling up my strength. I was using a dex belt, by the way. Then my friend told me, oh, you're leveling strength, you need to go get a strength weapon. I was like, okay. Oh, I get it now. So swords are dexterity, but swords that do bleed should be dexterity and arcane. But swords that do bleed, intelligent, but Oh god, this is really. You get my point. You get my point. I hate it. It's fun to tinker around with, but it's really hard to understand. Even I don't know after all of the time I've spent in Elden Ring. It's hard to explain to new players. That's why my go-to choice is strength builds in most Souls games. While Elden Ring is going to be an exception, you can say, because well, Elden Ring's bleed builds are really bonkers. So I'll choose bleed builds in Elden Ring and strength builds in other Souls games. Okay, staying back to the topic, Sekiro, due to having only one playstyle, you adapt to it much faster than other Souls games. So some would say having variety makes things much easier because you can use a weapon with which you are very familiar with, which does bonkers amount of damage, which could one shot a f***ing boss, or a certain boss is weak to certain damage type. But the thing is that there is a reason for different weapons, and professional PvPers know what I mean when I say this. Different weapons have different reach, different frames, different hyper armor, etc. It's really fun to use in PvP, but PvE, it just becomes a hassle for new players who are there to enjoy the game. They don't know much about buff stacking or how to use talismans or Asho War. They just here to have fun. Thinking of someone who is a beginner in Souls game, Elden Ring's weapons are really complex. Sure, Dark Souls and Bloodborne, they are still pretty much same and not that complex, but Elden Ring is way too complex. In Sekiro, once you understand how deflection works, bosses are cakewalk. Again, if you understand a boss, if you are good against a single boss, you're good against almost every single boss in Sekiro. While in Elden Ring and other Souls game, if you are good against a boss, it doesn't matter because every single boss changes the formula just a tad bit. I would say that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice feels extremely hard at first because it forces you to unlearn how you normally play Souls game. But once you stop playing Sekiro like other Souls game, you will understand how easy Sekiro is. But once you understand that you have infinite stamina, forgiving defensive mechanism, stealth advantages, minimal boss runbacks, resurrection mechanics, and a single playstyle which is much more easier to master than actually tinkering with different builds, understanding how build works, going to a freaking class to understand how it works, Sekiro becomes much more easier, and suddenly the game becomes much more manageable than traditional Souls games. So maybe Sekiro isn't the hardest From Soft game, maybe it's just one that demands you to learn its rhythm first, that demands you to adapt to it first. Once you have adapted, it's pretty much the same. I'm on my NG plus 9 and I do not feel any boss being different. It's literally like how I played the game for the very first time. And it's not like that I've never struggled. I have struggled with Lady Butterfly especially because she was my first ever major boss that I've fought. Yes, I fought her before Gyoboliva, but I never gave up and I eventually won. The thing is that in Sekiro, if you're persistent enough, you will win. And trust me, to get better in Sekiro, you need to actually first of all think that you are Sekiro himself, a shinobi who's trying to protect his lord. You need to play it like Sekiro. You do not need to play it like Elden Ring or Dark Souls. You need to change, you need to adapt your playstyle, and eventually you will win.